Of course, I'll need the boy's measurements for his uniform.
His uniform?
Oh, hello there, son. Why, yes, his uniform. And not a penny due until delivery. That gives him 4 weeks to anticipate, to imagine, to enjoy, at no cost whatever. Never let the demands of tomorrow interfere with the excitements and the pleasures of today.
Would it have,
A stripe. Why, certainly, my boy. A wide gold stripe right down the center. How does that sound?
Excuse me, Professor. We can get him to say 3 words a day even to us. And if you get him to play in the band, you'll have some Michael's away with you. But if anybody can do it, I bet you can. Out of a crowd, I think for wine drinking, it's a tossing, it's a preparing, it's a driving, just so many kids. Mamma mia, Italian. Where are you from, my boy?
Gary, Indiana.
I knew it. What did you say?
Gary, Indiana. In fact, Gary Conservatory was my alma mater.
Was she now?
Certainly. Gold medal class of Art 5. Odato, Miss Peru.
Odato, Mr. Hill.
Of course, Peru! I thought the name sounded familiar. I've tried to see you since the other night, but...
He wants to put Twitter in the band. We're not interested, Mama. But, Marian, the boy might have his father's musical gift. He does have my jaw, you know.
Your husband years ago. I sure would love to have a talk with him.
Do you burst in on every home like this, prying into personal affairs? We're not interested. Marian!
Well, that's 1 for and 1 against. Now why not let us have the boy's father decide?
The boy's father is dead. Anything else?
Oh, I'm sorry, but that's all the more reason why your brother needs something like this.
My brother is a 10-year-old problem child who can't understand why his father was taken away. Would you care to explain it to him? He's been brooding over it for the past 2 years. And as to your musical tricks, why don't you go into business with some fine carnival men who sell gold-painted watches and glass diamond rings?
Musical tricks? Well, Miss Peru, I hardly... I get the feeling she likes the idea. Oh, a bit cautious perhaps, but I admire that in a woman. Just keep me alive, and I'll be back later in the week.
For the moment, Professor Hill, about the boy's measurements, I make all his clothes. Slip 21, waist 18, crouch 14.
Fine. That's all I need. Now I must get back to the hotel.
Professor, I hope you'll excuse Marian. She is not really...
Oh, I'm sure at heart, she's as lovely as yourself. Good day to you, Widow Peru.
Has he gone? He has. And I hope not forever. Darling, don't you ever think about your future? Gary, Indiana, conservatory class of all 5. Now, darling. Now, Mama. Certainly a woman's future doesn't depend on encouraging every fast-talking, self-centered, woman-chasing traveling man who comes into town. And the fact that he claims his commodity is music does not, in this particular case, impress me. All right, darling, all right, Jess. It's a well-known principle that if you keep the flint in a drawer and the steel in another, you'll never strike much of a fire. Mama! Winthrop, I know you're there. Can you please go to the library and ask Miss Grubb for a book I set aside? It's the Indiana State Education Journal, 1890 to 1910. It's a large round volume with black corners. Do I have to? You don't have to talk to anyone. I've written it all down. Thank you, dear. Now what are you up to? Wondering if books at this hour of the night. I have a feeling that the Indiana Journal will help me poke some large holes in the professor's claims. Well, I give up. At your age, if you don't mind my asking, what kind of wide night do you expect from writing along? Well, I'm certainly not waiting for Luther Grainer, who backs me into the ancient history shelf every time he comes into the library. He does? Or Ed Gamage in that buggy of his with a removable back seat. But I'm not waiting for a
see, it has a couple of minor flaws. When you keep it tight enough to hold the music steady, you cut off circulation to your fingers. Meanwhile, you could go blind.
Daddy, it's Papa!
Is that the first thing I said or not?
Yes, George.
Yes, or I'll eat hay with the horse. Morning of July 4th, 1912, I said, get that man's credentials. And now, look, my wife is off dancing at all and any hour instead of at home.
George.
And the school board members are singing up street and down alley instead of tending to city matters. My daughter is boodling with some wild kid. And my business has fallen so far off the edge, I can't even find the balance sheet.
Mayor Shing, I found something very interesting in this book about Professor Hill's alma mater.
His who?
His university.
Oh, I know all about that. In fact, that's a thing I can only get out of him. Gary Conservatory, class of Art 5.
Well, if you'll just take a minute to read about the university.
Papa, the Wells Fargo wagon's just coming up from the depot.
The Wells Fargo wagon? A likely story. Nonsense. The Wells Fargo wagon.
That could be the band instruments.
The band instruments.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. Please let it be for me. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. I wish I knew what it could be. I got a box of maple sugar on my birthday. In mine I got a great mackinac. In once I got some great Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. A pre-bid surprise or COD. It could be curtain, partition, or on top of my door. It could be yes, sir, buddy, yes, sir, right. It surely could be something very, very special now. Just for me. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. Don't let it pass my door. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. I got some sand from Seattle, and I expect a new African chair. I hope I get my raises right now.
Looking on the center canyon for the courthouse square.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. Don't ever wait with the thief. They could be something for someone new. No relation, or it could be something special just for me. The band instruments.
Here we go, Lindrum.
Gee, thanks, Professor.
Gentlemen, you'll all receive individual instruction in due course. Until then, stay off the streets. Get well acquainted with your instruments and think of the minuet and G. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. La-di-da, la-di-da.
Sister, isn't it the most scrumptious doggone thing you've ever seen? I've never seen something so scrumptious as a doggone thing. Oh, sister.
You win this bout, Hill. But I better hear some bygone tune on that board, or I'll see you in front of the grand jury. Now, where's that library of that book?
George, I'm a student.
You watch your phraseology. You go home if you need to. I've got some business to attend to. About that book.
The ladies' dance committee